Okay, you may be seated. Thank you so very much. Let me take this opportunity to welcome each and every one of us from Adegun, from Ijebu, from Remo, where again? Okay, you're all welcome. Let's put our hands together for the Lord. I want to welcome each and every one of us from within Full School and from our dear friends who are joining us as special invitees. In Focus Businessmen's Fellowship, we introduce ourselves by profession because time will fail me if I ask you to start introducing yourself one after the other. But in the course of the program, there will be time for us to interact properly. Okay? Okay, you're welcome, sir. Okay, so it's welcome and introduction time. Like I said, we welcome ourselves by profession. We have many people, professionals in the house, doctors, nurses, scientists, hematologists, all the logists. Okay? You're welcome back. Nice to see you. 10 days away. Nice to see you. You're welcome. Do we have people in technical professions? Engineering, builders. You're welcome. Okay. I know all of us are going to school, but there's a group of people who say they're the only learning people. Those are. We are learning, we are educated. Okay, do you have lawyers in the house? Okay. I hope I'm not telling any content of court you got. Alright. We're again, school owners, educationists, educators, preceptors, trainers, people in education. What are you doing now? Some are already there, some are watching strike. You're welcome, thank you so very much. Which profession am I now called? People who manage money, accountants, finance professionals, insurance brokers. Okay, let's see your faces. Alright. Thank you. Do we have farmers in the house? I'm not talking okay, you're welcome. Which other profession have I not mentioned? If a profession is that, I've not mentioned it.
Civil servant administrators.
Civil masters, civil administrators, okay? Can we see you? Estate surveyors, okay. Alright. Okay, you're welcome. The Lord bless you. Our time is ticking very fast. I just introduce. Okay, I need to also make some special introductions before I go to the service table here. In Full Gospel Businessmen's Fellowship, do we have chapter president here? Let's recognize you. Okay. Oh, okay. Nice to see you. Field representatives, those are supervisors of chapter presidents. They supervise. Okay. All right. Then also in the house, national directors. Those are the organs at the top of Full Gospel Administration. Okay. National directors. Let's see you. Okay. All right. Let me also recognize in our midst tonight when Full Gospel Businessmen's Fellowship came to Ogun State close to 40 years ago. He happened to be the first chapter president, and he's still very much still in the field doing the work. He's a professor of forestry with Federal University of Agriculture and Agriculture. Please, let's welcome Professor Sam. I will also recognize his personal manager of how many years? Who who also is a professor, Professor Elizabeth. Well, she told us yesterday that she was named after Queen Elizabeth. Her father was an ambassador in England when the Queen Elizabeth became the Queen, and 3 years after she became the Queen, she was born, and the father said, "I'm here to name you after her." How about that? Professor Elizabeth. Everyone, let's welcome. The Lord bless you. Okay, here in this. Okay, we also have one of our national director, a very senior and experienced one for that matter. He came in with his wife, Amosu, but I'm going to introduce him. He's CEO of the Law Space, he's a management and leadership consultant, school proprietor, and over and above all of that is that he is a Christian. How about that? Okay? Anytime, this is available in the next one. Alright, I will introduce quickly the people on the service table. We have one thing and another to do. There are quite a number of people amidst us too that have one role or the other, but we want to make the service table as small as possible. Our chief host tonight is also a medical director, a medical doctor, and he is the chief medical director of Elohim High Specialist Clinic here in Abeokuta. He's an husband and one wife, and I'm happy to announce to you that the wife is a woman. She's the only one that has exemption to come here tonight, that has permission to come here tonight without his wife, because we are aware he has sent his wife on an errand. So that is the reason we granted that exception. Dr. Akieni Olorunda is our district coordinator, and the chief host tonight. And for this program, very soon is going to be welcoming us formally. Please permit me to skip the introduction of the young man and the young lady that are seated here. They got married maybe shortly after I was born. You will permit me to skip the introduction for now. Maybe my mouth is not even big enough to introduce them. Professor Adegun, when it's time, please be prepared to introduce them for us. Is that okay, sir? Yeah. Okay, for now, I'm going to bring you forward to just tell us who Full Gospel Businessmen's Fellowship International people are, and what is all this program, or what is all these things about, and how does it relate to the vision and mission of Full Gospel Businessmen's Fellowship. Please welcome with me now the name of the district, the Vice Chancellor of the Full Gospel Christian University, Professor Adegun.
Good evening. Nice to see your face. We are so excited to have you this tonight. And one of the things about us is that we like to tell you who we are. The Full Gospel Businessmen Fellowship International is a layman organization that you have in over 180 nations of the world, and over 6,000 chapters. And by the grace of God, in Ogun State, we have over 60 chapters, and in Abeokuta, we have close to 20 chapters. Who are we? We're professionals, and that's why you were introduced by your profession. And here, we are so grateful to the Lord that He has allowed our wife to be part of the ministry, and we are co-laboring together. I'd like to tell you a short story. Sometimes in the 1940s, there was this man and his wife who had this wonderful habit of helping ministers of the Lord to organize tent meeting. And they were so good at it, they were devoted to it using their resources. I'm talking about the founder of this fellowship, David Shakabian, and his wife, Rose. They were so good at it, and at the time, the Lord opened their eyes to see that in the tent meeting that they were organizing, in the churches that they go to, they discovered that the side of the women are always filled up. The side of the children, wonderfully filled up. But the side of the men, you will count them. And how many of us have been to churches where the men sit separate and the ladies sit separate? You will discover that at the time, you will find at the back of the men, women trying to fill up the spaces. And curiously, this man started wondering on what was happening. You know, the Bible says, how can two work together except they agree? And if God is asking us to raise godly seed for him, it means this man that is not in the church must find a way to work effectively with the wife. And so he raised the body unto the Lord. How do we bring these absentee men in the church and in the home back home and back to the church? And the Lord gave me an idea about this fellowship. And I want to tell you, this fellowship started in 1951. And the idea was to bring men back to the Lord. Now, literally speaking, the man here is generic because the Bible says in Genesis chapter 5, he created them, male and female, and he called them Adam. So in Adam was Eve. So in Baba today was Fumilayo. So that made it perfect. And after a year of using his influence, and I want to emphasize this, after a year of using his influence to bring men and women to the fourth chapter, he discovered that it was not working. Sometimes some of us, we want to use our neighbor to make our marriage work. We want to use our wisdom to make our marriage work. But the man soon got tired. And one Friday, he told his wife and a friend that was with them that tomorrow will be the last meeting. Because about a week earlier, a friend of his said to him, this fellowship is not worth a dime. And then the wife said, if the Lord is in this thing, he's supposed to bless it. You know, sometimes some of us wonder, why is my marriage not being blessed? I mean, when Christian and all the rest, maybe you'll be doing it by your strength. And so the man said, before I call it quits, I pray some of us are not trying to call our marriage quits. But thank God the Lord has brought you here. So there's not going to be any quitting. You're going to stay in the name of Jesus. He said, before I call it quits tomorrow, let me seek the face of the one who has given this assignment to me. So, after dinner, he told the friend that, look, I'm going to be in the sitting room. I want to seek the face of the Lord. And you know, because the man and the wife, they have learned to work together. The wife plays piano very well. I don't know who plays better between her and my very good friend and brother. Maybe when we get to heaven, we'll find that. So, the wife was on the piano. And the Lord started showing him the spiritual aspect of the vision that he has never seen before. And suddenly, the Lord took him in the spirit to see men in different nations who were standing together but were not communicating with each other. Men and their wife standing together, but they were alone. The man was not communicating with the wife, and he was not communicating with the next man beside him. And so, he said, Lord, help them. And the Lord said, you help them. And suddenly there was a transformation, and he saw that these same men that were standing, after being touched, something happened. They became men that were joyous, couples that were excited to communicate with one another and to relate with one another. And while this one was going on, You know, Bible says we know in parts. As the Lord was revealing things to him, the one who was on the piano was speaking the voice of God concerning what the man was singing. And let me tell you something. When a couple is together in harmony, when God is speaking to the husband, he will also speak to the wife. I have experienced this several times. And sometimes I ask my wife, who told you that? Because I was just ruminating it in my heart. And so the wife was speaking of what will happen. And suddenly, that fellowship that was supposed to die that Saturday, they go to the meeting the following day, that Saturday. The man who said to them, this fellowship is not what it died, brought a check of $1,000 in 1952. And if it were to be today, you can multiply it. And they must look at him and say, what you said, this fellowship is not what it died. He says, that was then. But today, I said to your spouse, today, our marriage is going to be worthy, something expensive that men would like to behold. And you know what happened? That was the man who first sold the seed. That his name is Minor Agabright. And we have the Minor Agabright partner. And you know, because the Lord wants to do something new. Somebody who had attended that fellowship. So once I drove about 348 miles overnight to be at that meeting. And what was it to do? It was there to surrender his press. He said to Demas, he said, the Lord told me, this fellowship must have a voice. And today, for those of us who are coming for the first time, we're going to give you a voice magazine. Thereafter, that fellowship that was supposed to have died blows up. And in that fellowship, you and I are there today. What it means is that 1952, when that thing was about to be aborted, God was seeing you and I. So I'm going to say to you, why are we here this evening? One of the main thing about full gospel is that the husband and the wife, they work together. And we saw the example in the life of the founder and his wife. And therefore, we have discovered that there is no way, no matter how anointed the man is, when the wife is not with him, it's difficult for him to run this fellowship. And so, one of the things that we enjoy in full gospel is that we enjoy advances and training. And what is it that these advances are for? They are to equip us. Tonight and tomorrow, the Lord is going to equip us through the people that He has apportioned to lead us, to equip us, so that our homes can enjoy a new dimension of His glory. And I'm going to ask you, please be attentive. Know that there is a future ahead of you that no man has seen before. The full gospel is a place where you have a very wonderful set of friends, network. And I want to tell you I've benefited from it. Let me close by saying that my first son, when he was 3 years old, I don't know what I did to him. And he said, I'm going to report you to your brother. And the only brother that I have stays in the US. So I was wondering, there was no phone that time. How would he report me? And suddenly he said, I'm going to report you to Brother Jones. My son, because of the way he saw us relating together, he could not imagine that these people would just be people of the fellowship together. They must be of the same family. And I remember when he was serving in Jos, there was Full Gospel Convention, and Brother Fijabi will remember this, that he saw the young man, and the young man has realized that in Full Gospel there is family. And Brother Fijabi, sorry, I'm using brother. We call people by their professional titles. Engineer Fijabi said, "Today, what did you people do to this boy?" He saw myself and my wife. He said he saw him as big as he is. He lied prostrate to greet him. Because in Full Gospel we have discovered that, look, we need to raise godly seed for him. And tonight, as we gather together and tomorrow, our prayer is that the Lord who has brought you here will equip you for you not to endure that hope, not to endure that marriage, but to enjoy and be fruitful in it. God bless you.
Thank you, Professor Adegun. We have some more people that came in when that was going on. My brother, Dr. and this is all the way from Ijobu. You're welcome, God bless you. Some people have probably accused me of nepotism because I didn't welcome them by name. Somebody also whispered to me that I didn't welcome the homemakers. Oh, please forgive me. So let's welcome our dear sisters, our wives, our mommies, and the others. Another person also said I didn't introduce myself. I thought everybody knew. No, you don't know me now. Okay. I'm Peter Okokole. I'm a Nigerian, one of Nigerian parents. That's okay. Oh, my wife is here. Please. And also, before I bring this in to give us his opening remarks, do we have people who are meeting with the Full Gospel Businessmen's Fellowship International people for the first time? Those whom we have invited as guests to this program. Can you meet to this? I think you don't mind. Tell us your name and introduce each of you by your profession and all you want us to say about you. Maybe how long you know you've married or something. Yes, quickly.
Good evening, sirs. Good evening, Marks.
Yes, welcome.
It's a pleasure to be here. I'm Dr. Yomi. I'm a general practitioner working with the State's Hospital Management Board. I'm the co-owner of Sankuti, a share of purpose. This is our 9th year.
9 years. What does she do?
She's an animal scientist.
Okay.
I think people show up.
Okay. So you are a human scientist, you are an animal scientist. Okay. You're welcome. Okay, let's quickly go to the couple there.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, sir. My name is Adegun, all the way from Shagam. I'm a business owner. Mr. Adegun Adegun.
What does he do?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Amosu. I'm a civil servant.
Okay. You're welcome. All right.
My name is Adegun. I'm an electrical engineer. But now I am serving by an insurance office. I buy chemicals and I sell.
Okay. Yes, go ahead.
Good evening, sirs. Good evening, Mass. My name is Mrs. I'm a legal practitioner, and my husband is a security personnel, public servant, and we've been married for 9 years.
My name is Natural Education, my husband is an accountant.
Okay, you again. All right. Please, a few housekeeping rules which I'd like to just roll out for each and every one of us. Number one is about the weapon of mass destruction that we all carry in our bags, our pockets. You know the weapon of mass destruction? Technos and Samsung and the iPhones of this world. Please, please, you will be doing yourself a lot of disservice even when you go out to pick calls, because even though we are doing recording of the main messages and all that, but you never will be able to tell when the word that will transform the word of your marriage will be spoken. And that's to beseech you by the message of the living God after the honor of Paul the Apostle, please put your phone on dead silence. That is if you cannot put it up. Whatever missed call you have, you can always return it later. Do we agree to that? Now, what punishment do we give to somebody whose phone rings during the session? Who sees the phone? And the man under authority, we will not seize the phone. We will just make the phone to go on some kind of strike, just like the one that's is on. And we will put it at the apostles' feet. God bless you if you are able to retrieve it later. Or we convert the money and put it in the apostles' treasury. Okay, should you need to ease yourself, we have a urinary for meal just outside there. Before you go outside with the door, through the door you came in from, you turn left, just there, that's for male, and the one for female is here. They also have some toilets there, but I think in order to avoid any congestion, because it's very small, you may have to go to your room if you want to do the big one. Okay? But if it is just a small one, those ones should suffice. We have 2 exits here. We don't pray for any fire incidents. The word of God has assured us that no lot of wickedness will fall upon the north of the United States. If any emergency was to happen, it's not going to be during this session by the grace of God. But should we have the need to go out, either of these 2 doors are available for us. There's going to be dinner tonight, and we hope that the tables will be set before it is time. By the way, the program is on the 3rd page. You will see the proceedings there. I'd also like to advise you that please, if you're not wearing the same clothes with your wife, please ensure that you sit with her. That is not to say that somebody here who is going to snatch your wife.